Hey guys, I hope we're live. This is Tony here, Addicted to Gear, and we're doing our live show again. I think we're a little bit hot today on the volume, so I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit so we don't clip. I've been doing some slight adjustments. Let me know if the sound is good. Also on the guitar, please, because is that okay? Is it too loud? Let me know. I hate moving things around, but yeah, the camera's a bit crooked. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing really well. Thank you for joining me again. I'm always looking forward to seeing you guys on Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope everything is going good on your end of the camera. I wanted to just say I had a pretty good week this week. Last week was rough. I'm not gonna lie, but this week is a little bit better. We're already in February 19th. I hope you guys had a pretty good Valentine's Day. I hope you guys spent it well and enjoyed yourself a little bit. I noticed you guys were chatting in the waiting room there before the show actually started, so that's great. I'm going to try to catch up with the chats here because there's a lot of them today, which is good. I like to see that. And hopefully everything, the line on the ceiling triggered my OCD. Me too. Kind of did also here, but I don't want to mess around with it right now. Let me see. Should I fix it? I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it. I think I'm going to leave it and see who really is suffering from OCD. I am a little bit OCD for things like that as well. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode or edition of Addicted to Gear Live. What the hell? Hold on a second, guys. Let me see if I can fix that without making it worse. Hey, is that better? So you know who has OCD right now, right? You guys are right. When you guys are right, you guys are right. Looks like the lair on the old Batman series. Yeah, you remember? Do you guys remember that when there the funniest thing I ever saw in Batman? I used to love that. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old when the Batman series was on, and when they would grapple on the side of the buildings, Batman and Robin would climb up the side of the building with the bat boomerang, and it would just be basically they would just put the camera like vertically there, and they would be walking on the floor, and somebody would be holding like fishing string, so it would look like their capes are hanging down. Do you guys remember that? It was so funny. But I used to love that show when I was a kid. My parents didn't have cable. So what ended up happening was I could never watch the show. And basically, I would have to go over to my friend's house down the street who had cable, and watch it at his house, and then we'd be Batman and Robin. We'd run around his backyard when we were like 7. I think he was 6. I must have been 7 or something like that, and we would just run around like crazy kids in our backyard, pretending we were Batman and Robin. Pretty embarrassing if you think about it now, but it's the truth. Believe it or not, the camera is not new. The camera is basically my iPhone. And it's nuts because I spent quite a bit of money to get like 4K cameras to be able to stream and stuff like that. And believe it or not, the iPhone camera is better. So I think I'm gonna like get rid of those cameras and just work with off my iPhone. The cameras in these phones are getting crazy. It's pretty nuts. It's funny. Yeah, Jean-Pierre, 1966, 1968. That's when it first came out. I was catching the reruns because I'm born in 1969, and the thing was still being rerun even after that. And it's funny because I also saw a guy who actually recreated the Batmobile. You can Google this, and there's videos on this thing. It's pretty nuts. He recreated the Batmobile full working version of this Batmobile with everything: smoke, machine guns that come out of the side of the doors that actually work, flame shooting out the back. You know, the whole 9 yards. Pretty crazy, man. Some people, they're really just like we're addicted to gear, they're addicted to all the this crazy stuff. Pretty nuts. All right, guys. So before we get into the chit chat, and we have some great stuff to talk about today, just want to remind you guys to please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, or you won't be able to chat. I have to say that because I still think there's some people that are new that drop in that don't realize that, and contact me later and say, hey, how come I wasn't able to chat? You know, that was, am I blocked? And no, you're not blocked. It's just because you got to be subscribed to the channel. So do that first, and then you'll be able to jump in and participate in the chat. All right. So that's first things first. Second thing is, please feel free to hit the like button to encourage the channel. That's always appreciated, and not obliged, but appreciated. And I want to say good morning to the guys that are here. So first of all, glad you're well, says Randy. Thank you, Randy. Charles75N, good morning. Gene, gelato and Italian coffee today. Ah, nice. That's a nice way to start your day. Cushman and Steven is here as well. Good morning to you. Gene says, I hope you put a portrait up of Maya. I missed the snoring. I will do that. I will definitely do that. I don't know if I'm going to put it up here, though. I might add another portrait up here, but I'm actually working on a little memorial frame with some pictures and a few things to like remind us of her. And I'm working on that. I'm probably gonna put it somewhere in the house where it's visible at all times. But yeah, I'll definitely put something up here. Absolutely. All right. So Charles is here. Cushman is here. Gene. It's me, Don P. Paul. Randy. Randy says, Tony, great day in the morning. I hope all is well with you, sir. Yes, it is. Thank you. Gene says it's 6:35 in Cali, making coffee. Don't forget to answer the poll on the community page. Yes, thank you, Gene. Thank you for reminding me. I did put up a poll yesterday. So if you have the opportunity, please go and answer the poll, and we'll review and compare notes later on. Steve says, good morning, everybody. Randy says, Kush, my brother, happy to be here with you. Hope all is well. I spent the week with kidney stones. Oh man, that tested my mettle. No kidding. Randy, sorry to hear that, buddy. I have not had the pleasure of having to deal with kidney stones, but I could imagine how excruciating it is. I'm not one that deals with pain very well. So I hope the worst is over for you, and you're enjoying some pleasant medication, hopefully, that'll make you feel better today. Wow, that's rough. That's rough. I know people that have gone through it, and it's like they say it's the worst thing, and I could only imagine. Fat Philosopher says there's a dude who made a treehouse that was a replica of the Millennium Falcon. You know what? I appreciate these guys. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I wonder if they have girlfriends. I think they don't. Maybe it's a little bit rude to say that, but I mean, anybody that spends that kind of time building a Millennium Falcon or something like that, wow. Okay. So Saint Brando's here. Good morning, Saint Brando. He says, and Sam, I like your. We were just talking about Batman, and Saint Brando has the Batman logo in his little avatar. Says, "Good morning, Tony. Happy Gibson Day. But since you're slinging a Telecaster, I'll forgive you. I can grab the Gibson. It's right here. It's not too far. But I was playing this because it was the one closest to me, and I haven't played it in a while. It did make me realize that I do need new strings. The strings on this thing are starting to sound like a rubber band." So you can hear it's I have a little, I don't know what this is, what kind of effects this is, but it seems I have a wah. Some kind of auto wah. I'm not Ottawa like the place, but Ottawa like the effect. Um, Keith says, I remember seeing the original Batmobile, $5 to get in and deal in the Del Mar Fair in the late 70s. That's pretty cool. You got an opportunity to get in. I'd like to get in one of those things and see how it looks and feels. Pretty cool. Kidney stones suck. Yeah, says Vox. And he says he's been there. Pia, nice to see you. Hello from Bangkok. How are you guys? We're doing good. Thank you for joining us. Gary's here as well. I had kidney stones several times during my life. Oh man, several times? Dude, what the heck? Apparently they say if you drink a lot of carbonated soda, there's calcium in there. That also leads to kidney stones eventually. But I don't think it's just that. I think it's other things as well. My dad had kidney stones as well. So yeah, it's not fun. Rico's telling me to come to visit him in Arizona. Rico, it's on my bucket list, buddy. One day I'm just going to show up at your door. You'll see. I'll bring my guitar, though, so it'll be cool. Christian, nice to see you, buddy. Christian's here from Germany. Ed, thinking of going over to the dark side and getting a drum kit. Ed, I've been there, buddy. I've been there. Drums are cool. Drums are fun. But they do distract, and if you're playing drums and guitar at the same time, you're going to eventually have to make a decision to where you want to spend most of your time. I actually took drum lessons for about 2 years, 2.5 years. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Everybody loves playing drums. Everybody wants to be a drummer, I think. Quicksilver says, my cat had last fall kidney stones. We just gave him Struvite medication, medicated cat food, and it was good 2 weeks later. Maybe we should try that. Never know. Good morning. Randy says, good morning. Got my coffee and ready to rock and roll, aka Bob's Kitchen. Steve says, tell took Sunday. It's Telunday. High sodium diet does it for sure. I think that's part of it. Today there's so much crap in our food that, if it's not one thing, it's something else, right? We're eventually gonna anyway, I don't want to talk about it. I made the decision, guys, I gotta lose weight. Okay? It's like I got to a point now, and I always said this, and I think I mentioned it on one of my other live shows. Winter for me is hibernation period, and I basically don't move. I'm like a bear. I basically work all day, mostly sitting down in front of a computer, unfortunately. In the winter time, I don't like going outside because it's too darn cold. And so I easily put on 10 pounds, easy peasy during the winter. And during, just before spring, obviously something clicks in my head saying, hey, it's time to get in shape a little bit. So I think it's time to sort of cut the calories and try and lose some weight because I'm due. Every year it gets a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, which is not good for my health. And, when you get up there in age, you got to be careful because, little things end up being big things. So it's better to take care of them when you can. So I'm going to be doing that. And no, I'm not going to be reporting my weight every Sunday. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be embarrassing because you're going to see me do like, oh, I lost a pound. Oh, I put on 1.5 pounds. Oh, I lost a pound. Oh, I put on 1.5 pounds. And that's going to go on and on. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to try to do a little bit better than I'm doing now. Quicksilver says, oh, me too. Gotta lose weight. Gotta get rid of 10 kilograms. And looking forward to the spring to dust the old bike off and go for a long ride. Me too, man. I love bike riding. It's a great pastime. It's a great way to get the stress taken care of, just being out in nature and breathing some fresh air and getting the heart pumping. I'm for sure gonna end up doing more of that during the spring. So I just can't wait for the snow to disappear, and then it's gonna be full speed ahead. Fat Philosopher says something. He's making fun of me. I don't know what's going on. He says, of course he's going to replace the pickups at Stoney. So I missed some comments. Sorry, I'm going to scroll back and see if I can see what I did wrong here. But something about pickups. Oh, here we go. Hey, Tony, are you going to replace the Roswell pickups in the Harley Benton? Eventually. Fat Philosopher knows me well. It's not because you have to, but more because you can. Eventually I'm gonna have probably another set of humbuckers that I'm gonna want to try, and they're gonna have to go in some guitar. So, why not go into a guitar where I haven't actually upgraded the pickups yet? Because most of the other ones that I have been upgraded. So eventually, probably I will probably do that. Green Rumor says had a good week. Picked up a DOA Blues Deluxe, a Marshall combo, also DOA, and an Epiphone Flying V in an Epi V case for a buck 25, and the BD fixed in 2 hours for a buck 25. Or you, how can it be a buck 25? You're talking about 125 bucks. If you got it for that cheap, that's a great deal. But if they're dead on arrival, you must be pretty handy with the soldering iron. What was the issue? My dog has me on a diet. Lost 7 pounds in the last couple months. Well, nice, excellent. What's your secret, man? What's your secret? How do you? What are you replacing the food with? How are you distracting yourself from the food? For me, I'm mostly a nervous eater where I eat when I'm bored, which is most of the time, especially during the winter time. Um, yeah, Vox, me too. I'm on the seafood diet as well. Um, they say you got to drink lots of water, apparently, because sometimes your body misunderstands the signals for when you're thirsty and you think you're hungry, but you're actually just thirsty. So drink lots of water. Okay, so you repair gear. I see. Okay, good, nice. That comes in really handy if you can get the great deals for stuff that doesn't work. Randy says I would spend my money on sound equipment pickups. Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that things are, technology today is moving so quick, especially, not just in everyday things. I mean, we look at the technology like what's going into our phones and the cars that can self-drive themselves, and even the modeling that we see today for music gear and all that kind of stuff. It's getting really, really good, and it's moving very fast. I mean, every 3 years is like another generation of stuff comes out, which is even crazier than what we have today. Um, and I think it's just a matter of time before AI starts creating music. I think the next step right now is that. I think it's, yeah, we're programming music with our computers. People that are actually playing instruments. Unfortunately, the younger generation tends to go the computer route because it's easy, it's what they know, it's immediate, instant gratification, easy to share. But I have a feeling that the next step, guys, is going to be artificial intelligence creating music for us. Basically, analyzing the type of music you like. Like I picture it this way: like you're gonna be plugging in a song into the computer. Say you like Led Zeppelin, for example. It's gonna listen to the music. It's gonna sample. It's gonna analyze, break down and mathematically analyze the music and what makes it so good. Maybe the timing, the way the music is divided up, the pauses, and it's gonna like take that, put it into the sausage grinder, and basically spit out something different but very similar. I have a feeling, and I bet you can even be able to punch in what you really want to like. I want something that sounds like the James Gang, and it's gonna spit out some music based on the entire library of the James Gang. It's gonna take bits and pieces of stuff from the different music samples and put it all together and give you something new. I have a feeling that's where it's going to go. This may be a $1 billion idea for all I know, or maybe somebody's already working on it, but I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. And it won't be long. Is that going to be the end of music? I don't know. But it's definitely going to be interesting times. Yeah, artificial intelligence is already writing stuff for us. You can basically there's free apps online nowadays already that you can basically use to you put in some text and it'll rewrite it for you, or it'll make a story for you, all based on artificial intelligence, based on Google, and it'll go out and finish your thoughts, for you. It's crazy. It's getting to the point where the technology is leading us as opposed to we're leading technology. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we're still going to have the ability to create art our own way, the human way, but I have a feeling it's going to evolve, and we're going to eventually merge into a world where it's a question of human beings, hopefully, still being able to control the mathematics and the ones and zeros behind the artificial intelligence. But it's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts, man. Anyway, that's just my 2 bits for today. Just giving you that something to chew on. Does anyone here have a Harley Benton? Quicksilver asks. Thomann ABS guitar case. They have ABS and another that is, I don't know what it is, but with zippers and looks like a case. I didn't order any cases from Thomann because many times you're dealing with duties and stuff, and I'm in Canada, so even though it might seem like a good deal for me, like, on paper, when I get it, it's always going to be more expensive. I always have to factor in like an extra, at least another $100 when you order something from Thomann and it comes all the way to Canada. So I haven't ordered it, but maybe somebody in Germany has that can help you on that. Fat Philosopher says, can a regular Fender guitar fit on a Harley Benton Strat copy? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but see, the body shapes are not exactly the same. And as a matter of fact, Fender pick guards don't always fit all the Fender guitars either, depending on where they're made. Like if you take a USA Fender and you take a pick guard from there and you take a pick guard from a Squier, or you pick guard from a Mexican Strat, the holes are not even in the same place. Sometimes they have 8 holes, sometimes they have 11 holes, and they tend to shift the holes slightly so you can't use them. The reason for that is that they usually sell the USA pick guards for way more than they do the Squier pick guards. And obviously, that's where they make their money. And I don't know why they do that, but they do. It's a cash cow. Green Rumor says AI is nothing but a quilt maker. It steals pieces of material from the internet and sews it together to make a pretty warm, comfy blanket. It's true, it does do that right now, but I have a feeling it's going to even get better. I've tried, I forget the name of the app, but there's an app out there that will simulate talking to a human. So a lot of companies are using this now for their live chat and all this kind of stuff. And you can basically ask it a question and it'll give you an answer. And the answers are quite interesting. It's not perfect. Eventually, by talking and asking questions, you do realize that it's AI. But I'm telling you, it's going to get better quick. Mark my words. All right. Anybody have any other questions before we jump into some cool chat? There's a question or comment here. I had the Harley Benton Fusion 3 with the 2-point trem, great guitar split, especially the neck, but the high E string just kept popping off from the bridge. Don't know why. From the bridge or from the nut? Because I know why it comes out. Because I'm pretty sure you mean it pops out from here. The high E from here. Because they have a roller string, like instead of using string tees, they have a roller, and the roller's too high. So what ends up happening, it doesn't put enough downward force on the E string and it pops out. It's an easy fix. You can just replace the roller and just put in a lower roller or another type of string tee and you should be fine. Not a big deal, but I know what you're talking about. So what I've been up to these last couple of days. Okay, well, actually, this is a great tie-in. Davis Music, you read my mind. Tony, what steps would you take to level 1 high fret on an inexpensive 12-string acoustic? I'm glad you asked me that, Davis. I'm glad you asked me that, and I'll explain why. Because I was actually doing just that yesterday. I was doing exactly that yesterday, and I have the photos to prove it. and I'm gonna share them with you. I don't know if you guys remember this. Let me just see if I can put this on the screen real quick for you guys. Can you see that? Well, this is the body that I ended up getting from Guitar Anatomy. This is the Telecaster, and it's not this one, by the way, although it looks very similar. Not the same. This is the Telecaster guitar project that I'm working on, and I didn't advance. Like, it looks like it's getting finished, but the parts are just sitting on it. There's nothing screwed in or nothing finalized. I just put it together, kind of a dry fit, to see how it would look. And so that's step one in the process, right? The other thing that I needed to do is I always start off my projects with taking a look at the fretboard, because if the fretboard has issues, I need to fix that first. So what I did yesterday was I actually leveled the fretboard, and this is a shot of the fretboard really close up. And there was about I'm gonna say 5 or 6 high frets on the fretboard, which is not unusual. It usually happens from time to time, especially when you're getting a brand new fretboard from someplace. So I ended up doing exactly that, Davis. And what I would recommend to you, if you're gonna do a level and it's only really one fret, you can just do it with a crowning file. Just go very slow. Check it with a rocker. Just take off enough material, not too much. You don't want to cause a problem somewhere else on the fretboard. There's a lot of people that are going to say it's best to do an entire fret level, but honestly, if it's just one fret, you can also see if it's just lifted. Sometimes you can just hit it back down with a soft mallet. And sometimes just a little tap will reseat it properly, and you might not even have to level it. But if you do have to level it, you can do it with a little crowning file and just work on that one fret, and then do the usual process with a series of sandpapers to put the polish back in. Does that make sense? Hey Keith, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Keith says, I'm thinking Tony's Contagious. I'm looking at the 61 SG. Which one would you want, 61 or standard? You know what? I'd like both of them, Keith. I know it's a non-answer. A lot of people would love the 61. Yeah, the 61 is cool, but they're both cool. I'm not a big fan of the whammy on the SGs. Like, if I would get an SG with a whammy, I probably wouldn't end up using the whammy all that much. It would just be more like for the look. I did try SGs recently, I'm not gonna lie, and they're great. They feel really nice. The neck on the one I tried was awesome. Eventually, I don't have an SG. Let's just leave it at that. I don't have an SG currently, so eventually, maybe, you never know. You might see one pop up. Vox says, I bought a black pickguard for my import Telecaster from Guitar Fetish. The screw holes lined up perfectly, but the pickup route and the guitar didn't line up with the cutout in the pickguard. That's always like tricky when you're trying to put together a part caster. And that's why I do a dry fit like I was just showing you, because the parts they're not all universal. If you end up getting a pickguard from one company, a body from another company, and so on and so forth, the neck pocket might be a little narrower or wider. The curvature of the body might be slightly different. So when you put the pickguard on it, you'll see that, things like over here don't line up perfectly. It's not perfectly symmetrical all the way around. If you have OCD like I do, those things will bother you. So you have to kind of, it's better to check. Like the old saying, just measure twice, cut once type of thing. It's the same idea when you're putting together a Telecaster. All right. If I missed any of your questions up above, please just copy and paste them back down, because I'm just scrolling down to try and keep up with you guys. Because I noticed in previous live chats I'd fall behind, and I guess it's pretty boring when you guys are trying to ask me questions and I don't get to it. We got to get that SG fund up. Yes, Mark, we do. We do. Actually, I think you guys might be proud of me. Um, I'm going to tell you what I did this weekend. It could be a good thing in the eyes of some. It could be a bad thing. I actually sold an amp. I sold my Blackstar, my Jared James Nichols Blackstar combo this weekend. I don't know why. Oh, actually, I know why, but I don't know what caused me to actually take the steps to sell that amp. Not because I didn't like it. I thought it was a great amp. It definitely had its place, but ever since I got the Fractal, it became redundant. Because the reason I bought that amp was because I wanted something small and portable, loud enough to play with a band if I needed to. Something that had two channels, a nice clean, a nice drive channel, and lived in the Marshall territory, but can get some cleans that were, I'm not gonna say exactly like a Fender, but close enough. And that amp pretty much, ticked all the boxes for me. But ever since I ended up buying the Fractal, I can do all of that and so much more with this device that I'm considering, I'm reevaluating a lot of the stuff that I have right now. And that one was just basically sitting in the corner gathering dust. So I decided to sell it. And it went to a good home. A nice gentleman picked it up. He actually came to my place to pick it up, and he ended up bringing a Tokai Strat, a Japanese Tokai Strat, which I've never actually seen one in person. Really nice, red, and it sounded great, man. Through the amp, it really sounded good. So now that I have, some extra dough from, not extra because I already had spent it, just now that I've recuperated some dough, it's in the fund. I don't know which fund it's going to go to. It might be the SG fund. It might be some other fund. But eventually I might replace it with something else. I'm hoping that we'll be maybe seeing some new interesting amps coming out because honestly right now there's not a whole lot. I feel like I'm thinking like Mesa's probably going to be working on a couple of new amps, and we're probably going to start seeing them trickle out. I don't want to buy something that is in the same area tonally than the ones I already have. Doesn't make sense to. And it's going to be I'm going to have to be a little bit more selective because again, once you have a Fractal, there's like 360 amps or so in this thing. You have basically a palette of amps that you can refer to and play with and stuff, and it's damn good. I gotta say, if anybody is considering getting a Fractal, go for the FM9. You're not gonna be disappointed. But there is a caveat to that, and I have a video coming out, and I'm gonna explain why it's not all roses. So if you guys are interested, check it out. I also going back to the fret leveling. So the neck I was actually working on was this one, right? The one you just saw in the photo is this one. So I actually recorded the whole thing because you guys had mentioned over and over again that you wanted to see the process. And I did do a fret leveling video and I have it out there, but I'm going to be recording the steps involved in putting this Telecaster together. And that includes the fret leveling. And I did that. I was planning on putting it out tomorrow, but maybe I'll do it right after the live show. I don't know. Do you think it's bad if I put out a video after a video? Not really sure. But it's about, I'm not going to lie, it's rather long. It's about 45 minutes because although I don't record every single step, I do kind of take you through the process and I talk through it to give you all the steps and stuff like that. So if anybody's considering doing that, I show you in the video exactly how I go about doing it. Is it the best way? No. Are there better ways? Yes. Can you get your fretboard plecked? Would that be better? I think it would be better if you have access to a pleck machine and you want to do it. That's probably the best way of doing it. But it definitely is a good thing to learn how to do it yourself because like we were talking about earlier, if you have one fret that's out of whack, it's a perfect way of taking care of it. All right, now we have 70 people here today, so I'm going to repeat once again, just in case some guys jumped in a little bit late. You have to subscribe to chat. So please do that. It's written right over here in little squinty print. So please subscribe to chat. If you're wondering why you can't, that's why. Feel free to hit the like button and give me some likes. That would be fantastic. We have 35. There was 60 or 70 people here. Would appreciate the thumbs up. And of course, guys, ask your questions. I don't know why everybody waits till the end, but ask your questions up front because we won't be able to get to everybody's questions at the end of it, right? So don't be shy. Jump right in. And yeah. Fat Philosopher says, I'm going to wait a month to see if Fender releases Melina Moy's Seafoam Green Strat when her new album comes out next month. They might. Who knows? Green Rumor has an excellent idea. I like that idea. 60 watchers. If we pool our money at $20 a pop, we can get one of us an SG every week. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should set up a GoFundMe or something, and or maybe a it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think that's kind of illegal. I'm not sure if it's illegal or not. But if I do a Patreon account, think about this, guys. I do a Patreon account. We have a pot there. We call it the SG pot. Everybody puts in $20 or so, and then every week we draw a winner of an SG, and we basically buy someone an SG. Well, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? If you don't play, you can't play, obviously. But could be an idea right there. Could be an idea. The old pyramid strategy. Buy a real amp that you like the tone of and do a comparison. Well, I have that. I'm planning to do that, actually. In the Fractal, there's a bunch of amps, like I said, probably about 100, 350, maybe more. I'm not really sure. Of course, they do have the Dirty Shirley, which I have behind me. I wanted to do a comparison. I wanted to play the real thing, record it, and replay it through the Fractal and record it and see how close it is. But the thing is, with the Fractal, it's going to sound more polished because you can have, you have really nice reverbs, really nice delays, choruses, and all kinds of effects. I would have to kind of do it dry. I would have to get rid of all the effects, just do the amp, mimic the mic that I'm using as close as possible, because that's the thing, is really like, how do you mimic that stuff? So I'm gonna have to spend a little time, but I'm sure the Fractal, if you tweak it, can get very close to the real amp. Maybe not as in dynamics, maybe, because live is live, but I'm pretty sure you get the flavor. Why does everybody sound the same when they play hot rod guitars when tone is in the fingers? You find they all sound the same? I don't know. I find people tend to sound the same when they play through modelers, not so much through amps, because there's a lot more variation in the signal chain when you're trying to record a live amp, as opposed to a multi-effects unit. I think the multi-effects unit kind of homogenizes the sound, and people tend to sound similar. Not bad, but similar. So I have some trivia for you guys. Since we're let me ask you a trivia question. Nobody Google it, please. Let's see who can get this one. And it's an easy one. If you're a Led Zeppelin fan, it's an easy one. And I figured I picked this one because I am a Led Zeppelin fan and I know the answer, but let's see if you guys know. What was the nickname of the luxury jet Led Zeppelin chartered for many of their tour dates? Was it A, Air Force Fun, B, the Starship, C, the Mud Shark? And if you guys know the story behind the Mud Shark, you might grimace at that one. And D, Carouselambra. Am I even saying that right? Carouselambra. So which one is it? Is it A, Force One, or A Force Fun, B, the Starship, C, the Mud Shark, or D, Carouselambra? You have 20 seconds to put in your answers below. I'm gonna hum the Jeopardy theme song. Just kidding. I don't want to be that annoying. Kaishaman has the answer. He was the first one to put it in. No, actually, BC Rich 581 is the first one to put it in. And he says Starship, and the man is a winner. You're right, Starship. Are you you must be a Led Zeppelin fan, right? I don't know if everybody would know the answer to that, but there's a couple of you that know the answer. And that wasn't a hard one. That wasn't a hard one. I'll give you another one, okay? Because a lot of you guys already know this answer. It's pretty easy. And here, how about this one? This is I would probably have to Google this one. Hindenburg, says Jerry. All right, how about this one? In 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. You guys know that song. How many methods of lover leaving does Paul Simon actually describe? You know, you would think it's 50, right? So is it A, 5, B, 8, C, 25, or D, 50? Which one is it? BC Rich would like a Dumble as his prize. Okay, we'll see if we can ship it to you. We'll work on that, okay? We'll have to pool our resources to get you that prize. Presley says, somehow I totally missed Led Zeppelin. How did you miss it? Hey, Charles, nice to see you, buddy. So this one's not as easy, right, guys? Well, it's kind of obvious, I think. Alan's Guitar Channel says A, and he was the first one. So let's see, anybody else? Obviously, it's A. Otherwise, the song would have been very, very long. So good answer. Everybody kind of got the answer to that one. Fat Philosopher says the shark incident has its own Wikipedia page. Zappa wrote a song about it. Greatest rock party ever. So I'm wondering, like, we're not going to get into the shark thing, but you guys feel free to Google it. Check out Wikipedia. It's pretty nasty. Crazy things went down back in the 70s, you know, obviously. Things that you would never be able to get away with today. And I'm surprised nobody's actually come out of the woodwork after the Me Too movement started happening. And or maybe they did, and Jimmy Page had to kind of pay out some quiet money, some hush money, because there's a lot of stuff happening back in those days. Underage women and sharks and all kinds of crazy stuff. SS paraphernalia on stage, you know, stuff wouldn't fly today at all. But hey, it was a different time back then. Hindenburg would have been a cool name. If you're bad at spelling like I am, though, it would, you know, maybe cause issues. I have a cool picture I want to share with you guys. And it's something that I came across recently, and I thought you guys might be interested in checking it out because it's cool. You guys recognize this man, don't you? You know who I'm talking about here, right? Who's this guy? Yeah, it is Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. What happened here? Oh, man. Technical difficulties, guys. Sorry. You know, sometimes computers don't want to participate in the fun. So let me just do that one more time. Here we go. Let me just pop that up. All right. There we are. So you recognize this fellow? Yes, Jimmy. That's not Jimmy. I was tricking you guys there, seeing who's on the ball. Who's this guy? Stevie Ray Vaughan, SRV, the man. You know, this is a pretty, I'm going to say, a less known photo. I haven't actually seen this photo too many times. There's like, it seems like the same photos always pop up whenever you're looking at the old Stevie Ray Vaughan images on the internet. There's not that many. But this one I haven't seen that often, and he's not playing his number one, and he's playing another Strat, and he has the SRV stickers right under the strings, as opposed to being like below the strings on this one. Really nice shot, nice and clear. I think I'm gonna print this and frame it. I do have some SRV, some really nice SRV stuff on my wall, and I can't really take. I don't want to move the camera to show you, but I have a really nice hand-drawn picture of SRV on my wall just there, and a few other things. I think this picture is nice enough to print and frame. So I'm probably gonna do that, but that's not what I wanted to show you guys. There's more. One sec. So of course I'm a big SRV fan, and I geek over SRV stuff. And so, you know, whenever I find something cool, I want to share it with you guys. So I came across this cool image. Oop. Actually, let me just close this guy. There we go. You can see it better now. This is a really cool shot of Stevie's Tube Screamer TS10. You can see it's been used. It's been well loved. A lot of people, go crazy, go gaga over the 808s. And they released so many different versions of the Tube Screamer, and everybody wanted to get the vintage one because they feel that one was the one with the sound. But here we have Stevie's trusty Tube Screamer 10, and he was getting the tone out of this thing. So you don't have to go crazy. Sometimes you can just get these things are still floating around. You can still get them. There's a lot of companies reissuing different things that are supposed to sound like them and be vintage and all that, but sometimes, again, the finger, the tone is in the fingers. So don't always buy into the hype. Boomster Black says, if Led Zeppelin is new to you, do yourself a favor, start at one and go to Houses of the Holy. You won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed. In a way, I wish I didn't know Led Zeppelin and I could listen to it for the first time and rediscover it, because it's such great music, even today, so many years later, that it blows me away how much great stuff they came out with. Presley says, a friend got me tickets to see Robert Plant and was pissed when I asked, who's that? Oh boy. Oh boy. So did he invite you to another concert after that, Presley? Did you know that Robert Plant played guitar? I'm sure he knows how to strum some stuff. Yeah. Green Ruber says, I don't think I've ever seen anyone wearing their backstage pass while performing. You probably just forgot to take it off and all the excitement. Great photo. Charles says, Tony, actually selling my Les Paul 2009 traditional to buy a 61 SG. Had a few back surgeries and can't handle the weight anymore. Played my buddy's 61 and it's great. Yeah, if you're going to be looking at something lighter, definitely the Les Pauls would be a little heavier than that. I did, just as a tie-in to what you're saying there, Charles or Charlie, I did start weighing all of my guitars, and I have a master list now of all the weights of my guitars, and I wanted to do a little video and just point out my lightest and heaviest guitar and maybe compare the tones to see if weight does make a difference. But I think a lot of that's been debunked already. Jimmy Page, worth listening to. First 5 albums, rock classics. Plant's vocals took music to new places. Drummer, groundbreaking. John Paul, awesome bass and keys. That's the thing about, when you're dealing with Led Zeppelin, every member of that band was giving 100%. I don't think anybody was a slouch in that band. And I think that's why they just came out with awesome, great, classic rock. Everything, you listen to the bass on one of the songs, it's great. It's entertaining. It's not boring. You listen to the singing. It's great. The playing, it's great. The drumming, awesome. The only thing that I have to say, not lacking, but one thing I realized when I listen to Led Zeppelin, guys, is that I still don't know what they're singing about. Like, if I had to tell you the lyrics, like A to Z all the way through a song, I wouldn't be able to do it. Not all of them. Okay, stuff like Black Dog is pretty straightforward, but some of the other songs, there's a lot of lyrics going on, and to be honest with you, I listen to the lyrics last. I listen to the singing, but I don't really pay attention to the lyrics all that much when I listen to Led Zeppelin. I don't know if it's just me. Eddie says, anyone who puts cocaine in coffee to cure a hangover is my hero. It's probably better for you than aspartame, so cheers to that. Presley, I think you may have made some enemies today. I forgive you. I don't. You can still make up for it. Um, Thinking about getting a GPS device for my guitar case when I have to do air travel. Any ideas what I should get? GPSs are expensive. You can probably make do with an AirTag if you're not going too far away from your guitar case. You can just buy an inexpensive AirTag, throw it in your case, and I mean when you're on the plane, you technically it's in the baggage compartment, right? So you're probably less than, I don't know, 50 feet away from your baggage. I do that. It's not foolproof, but it could work. I actually just read or actually just saw a video with Jared James Nichols. And he was talking about his rig and whatnot, and he had a Klon on his board. And the Klon's very expensive now. For those of you who don't know, the Klons are going for crazy money, especially if it's a real one. So what he did was he had put an AirTag under or on his pedal board, and somebody in fact tried to steal the Klon, actually the entire pedal board, because you're on stage. You're not on stage all the time. Your pedal board is there, and you're off stage or doing your own thing for a while until the show starts. Somebody took off with his pedal board. He managed to track it down using the AirTags, and probably gave the guy a beating, because Jared James Nichols is not a small dude, man. The guy's like, he must be close to 7 feet at least. Yeah, you know what I mean. Charlie saw it. I think Charlie's mentioning here. Watch the new gear rundown. Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to, Charlie. Yeah. So you don't want to mess with the guy. Um, there's something that I came across recently that I think is interesting, and I want to also share with you guys. And you guys tell me. I'm getting the impression that soon we're gonna see a new PRS guitar, and it's gonna be a Telecaster. The reason for that is that there's some pictures that have popped up on the internet, and I'll share one with you in a second. Um, and if you guys know Miles, do you guys know Miles Kennedy? Anyway, there's some pictures on the internet that have popped up of Miles Kennedy playing a PRS guitar with a Telecaster style body and bridge, but it has a PRS neck on it. So I don't know if this is a prototype. It would make sense because PRS hasn't released a true Telecaster style body. They've recently, with the Silver Sky, they recently did the Strat thing. So it would make sense if they did the Strat thing that maybe their next step might be a Telecaster. And could be interesting. I don't know what you guys think about that, but let me share the picture with you guys. Let me share that picture if I can just pop it up here real quick. There we go. So let's have a look-see here. Boom. There you go. So that's the man, Mr. Kennedy, and that's the guitar. And it looks an awful lot like it's a PRS, birds and everything, but it's a Telecaster. So my guess is that soon we're going to see some PRS style Telecasters on the market. Could be interesting. I like Telecasters. I like PRS. Who knows? We'll see. The Silver Sky, in my opinion, plays great. And there's no reason why they wouldn't do the great, sprinkle some nice PRS magic on a Telecaster. What do you think of that? Dan of New Jersey says PRS was supposed to be an innovator. If he comes out with a Telecaster, then is that an admission that his vision is evaporating? You know what the story is, right? Paul's gonna weave some crazy story about how he made it better and how the Telecaster was a great guitar, but they managed to sprinkle their PRS fairy dust on it to make it even better. And, he always does that, right? He always manages to be able to explain why, you know, his guitar is better and, more resonant. And is it true? I mean, there might be some innovation in the guitar. I mean, I don't think he would put out a Telecaster that is identical to what we have now. There'd be no point in that. He's going to make some changes to it. Maybe they'll be for the better. We don't know. But I'd be interested in seeing what it's going to be. Mark says every other company can make an S-style guitar and T-style guitar, and no one says anything. PRS does, and everybody freaks out, complains. It's true. It's a fact. Boomster Black says my PRS is very cool. 97, I think. Guy comes on and says PRS pickups suck. LOL. Then says he likes Super Distortion. LOL. Yeah, okay. Exactly. This is why you can't really just take one person's advice. You got to listen to the stuff, man. It's all relative. Compared to what? That's the thing. Somebody says he likes something or doesn't like something. The next question should be compared to what? Why is every company that makes Telecaster style guitars are usually good or very good, and whoever tries to make a Les Paul are so-so? Well, Half-Life Telecasters are pretty simple guitars. Maybe you guys might disagree with me, but I think a Telecaster is, very basic. It doesn't have a set neck. You're not really dealing with a neck angle like you are on the Gibsons. The body's not carved, it's not a two-ply construction where you have, a mahogany on the bottom, maple cap on top. The process of building a Les Paul is a lot more involved than a Telecaster. Telecasters are basically two hunks of wood stuck together with some pickups and strings in the middle, and pretty basic. Yet it does have a really great flavor, and there's definitely something about it that I wouldn't necessarily need to change. But if somebody comes out with something better, I'm all ears, man. Just like I always say, don't tell me, show me, Alan says, what's next? A PRS SG? Maybe. Maybe. Presley says 3x3 headstock will be a big change. Indeed. It will be. And probably the pickups. I don't think, they're going to just put in regular pickups in there. They're going to have to do something different, right? They're going to have to figure out a way to charge us more money. Boomster Black says, I did the processor thing, 90s, early 2000s, was great learning tool. I found my amp in there. Real thing is always better. I agree. I think the real thing is always better if you can afford the real thing. Sometimes you can't, unfortunately. For me, I think it's a compromise. You definitely would love to have the real thing, but I can't afford a Dumble. I never would be able to afford a Dumble. There's a Dumble in there, close enough for me, some of the amps that I have, generally a person will have 1, 2, maybe 3 amps if they're lucky. But, there's no way I'd be able to afford 350 amps at my fingertips. And it is a tool that will allow you to maybe better understand what the amps sound like. Because, you can't always go to a store and try 350 amps. Like, I've never walked into a store in my area that has a Soldano, for example. So for me to be able to play a Soldano is going to be very difficult. And, would I buy a Soldano sight unseen at that price? No. But a multi-effects unit that gets pretty close would make me better understand whether or not I like it. Maybe after playing through, a sample, I might say, hey, this is actually not for me. I don't know. It's not the sound I'm looking for. Tony, how can I tell if my nut is plastic or bone? Okay, there's gonna be a joke in there someplace, but I'll try and be serious about it. You can tell by, well, I mean, bone definitely has a different transparency to it. You can, even with a light, if you flash a light through bone, it's pretty opaque. You can actually see the light through it. Bone does smell different. If ever you're not sure about what it is, I can tell just by looking at it and feeling it. But if you take a nuts file and just file your one of the grooves a little bit, you're gonna definitely smell something that smells like burnt hair. It doesn't smell pleasant. It has an odor to it. Plastic doesn't do that. If you also take a bone nut and a plastic nut and drop it on a wood table, they sound different. How else? Also, when you file a bone nut, it doesn't leave like little plastic burrs. It's basically a powder. Gets comes apart as a powder. When you're filing bone plastic, you can see like there's leftover, like a little leftover pieces of plastic that are kind of stuck. I don't know. Anybody else have any? How do you know if your nut is bone? Answers. That's all I could think of, spur of the moment, like this. Lots of Dumble pedals out there, true. Just like lots of Klon pedals and lots of Tube Screamer pedals. Which one is the one? It's true what you're saying. I use a Fender Deluxe Clean platform. That's half a Dumble. Indeed it is. It's very close, actually. So if you have the clean side and then you can get the sweetness of the drive with a pedal, some kind of Dumble clone pedal, you're almost there. Dan says my most recent amp purchase is the Lanny LA Studio, only 3 watts. And I could run it right into the cabinet or my PC interface through studio monitors. Breaks up great at low volumes. A lot of people like the Lannys. I haven't had the opportunity of trying one because they're not that available here. But I'd love to. I'd love to try them. They have a lot going for them. I think they're built really well. John D says, anyone see my messages? I don't see them. Well, I see this one. John, what other messages did you have there? Just post it, copy and paste them again. Maybe I just jumped over it when I was scrolling because I tend to do that. I tend to jump around. I apologize for anybody posting a message earlier on that I didn't see, but if feel free to just copy and paste it back at the bottom. Antoon says Fender Clean and Klon Clone drive my sound. I like for clean and when I'm playing on the clean side of an amp, I find like boosting it with. I actually boost it with 2 pedals. One is a Klon Clone, the other one is a Rook. They work so well together. They really balance each other out. John can't see them. John, are you on an iPad or are you on a PC or what are you looking? How are you looking at your messages? Let's see if we can figure out what the glitch is there. So the getting rid of the Blackstar amp was kind of, I think, the beginning stages of my spring cleaning. I tend to reevaluate my gear in the springtime. So I will probably be posting some other stuff for sale. I just haven't decided what yet. There's probably going to be a few guitars in there as well. Again, haven't decided what, but it does feel good in a sense to be able to let go. But I don't know. Again, I really have a hard time letting go, and I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision because I find that everything that I've accumulated so far has a place. Right now, the main redundancy that I have going on right here now is the multi effects unit. So the Velaton, the NuX, all the other smaller, the Amperos and stuff like that. I have stuff now that is redundant there. So maybe I'll get rid of some of those and just keep one for a little desktop unit, and obviously the fractal will be the main one. Steven says, hey guys, I just back to the keyboard now, was taking care of mom. I used to be on here as Munch. Nuked my channel. Why did you do that? What happened? Steven, what happened? Why did your channel disappear? What's going on? And I hope your mom's doing well, by the way. Say hi to mom. Yeah, Fat Philosopher had that issue as well, but I think we figured it out eventually. What was the resolution to your problem again? Fat, I don't remember how we figured it out, but something happened. Steven says, jumping back to Led Zeppelin, anyone know who stand back up and played mandolin on the Battle of Evermore? They were uncredited. The Battle of Evermore? Good. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to, Steven. So you stumped me on that one. Let's see who can answer that question. Let's see who's the real Led Zeppelin fan here. And I'm sure somebody's probably Googling it at this minute. Paul says the PRS goal was take the very best of both Fender and Gibson. Paul literally said this in the early year interviews. They have learned Gibson's heavy, but leaning Fender is nothing new to their philosophy. Yeah, I heard that too, actually, Paul. Yeah, in the early years, that's what Paul was saying. He wanted to kind of make a hybrid of both guitars. Thank you, Cool Tunes. Thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you, buddy. I'm glad I could bring you guys together. It's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys. So, thumbs up to you, buddy. Thank you for supporting the channel and all the great stuff that you do, and the great comments as well. I always thought it was John Paul Jones that played the mandolin too. Because I've seen him play the mandolin and other things, other live videos. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was someone else there. Alan said I should get rid of one Charvel and one PRS. These are duplicates. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I also saw that Charvel will be, they've been working on the Strat, Super Strat side of things, which is not new. But in 2023, the Pro Mod SoulCal 1 guitars are out. So I don't know if that's what you have, but it's basically, they look like Strats with humbuckers, basically is what it is, right? It's almost like, you guys probably saw the video I put out with my my Squier contemporary Strats, which is basically the Squier version of a Strat with humbuckers, but it doesn't have the Floyd in it. Well, Charvel has released similar versions. They're, again, the SoulCal line of their guitars, which is basically a Super Strat with humbuckers. They also have the SSH configuration with the Floyd in them. They're nice looking guitars. What I like about them, is it something new? Not really, because I feel like, Charvel has been rehashing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Nothing really new. So it's not eye-catching to me. It's not something like, wow, I need to get one of these things. But what I do like about them is that the prices are still accessible, not super crazy. So if you're into a more modern style guitar, something with, for example, they tend to have flatter radiuses. They go from 12, 12-inch radius to 16-inch radius. I think these guitars are being offered with different types of neck material. So you're going to get the maple necks. You're going to get the, I think they're also offering ebony, which is new, I think. I don't know if they've ever had necks with ebony. So if people like ebony as opposed to rosewood, I think I probably go for ebony as opposed to like laurel or anything like that. You know? So they're interesting in the sense that they're not that expensive. They're still at about, they're hovering at about $1,000. They have the Luminlay, which I like. I like the Luminlay, especially if you're playing live somewhere and it's dark. That's pretty cool. Would I go for the SSH? I'm not sure. Maybe I just go for the HH. Although the SSH is pretty cool. And they have some interesting colors as well. Like that's one of the things with Charvel is like they often release the guitars with like these crazy colors. I think they finally have a plain Jane red, not like a fire engine red or a highlighter type red. So I think they have gloss black, they have blue, they have white. I think they even have an anodized gold, which is not like it's not like a gold top. It's a little bit deeper. Looks cool. And the 1000 series Floyd, which is a good choice. In the States, is going for about $899, which means here in Canada, it's probably gonna be about $1,000. So not bad, you know. John D's leaving. He says, "Okay, guys, have a good weekend. I'm out. All my comments are gone." That's weird, John. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Maybe next time it'll work out better. I don't know. Dan says you can have more than one type of S body. I have a HSH Ibanez, an SSH Strat, HH and SH Charvel. All depends on the tone that is outputted and the features. They're only similar in one way. Yeah, I'm not going to say that they're exactly going to be the same. Absolutely not. They're all going to feel differently. Some people like them, some people don't. I like I like when Charvel does the thing in the back where they have the Strat style input jack or output jack, but they put it in the back so it's out of the way. I think these guitars have the output on the bottom. I'm not really sure. I haven't really seen the back of them yet. Yeah, Mark, I don't know. I don't know why he can't see his comments. Maybe he's not subscribed. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, hopefully he'll be back. It could be frustrating. I know Fat Philosopher had the same issue, but I couldn't say why. I had one of these Charvels back a few years back, and I ended up selling it. But they're decent guitars. I consider getting another one if I come across the right one. Did you guys hear about this new amplifier that's coming out? The Joe Bonamassa. They're coming out with a Fender 48 amp. Have you seen this? Apparently, Fender's been working for about 2 years on this amplifier with Joe. It's sort of like a vintage recreation of the Fender 48, which is about a 26 watt amp, I think it is. It's a combo, 212s. At first glance, when I looked at it, I'm like, this thing's ugly. But it's based on the original. It's got a curved front, so the speakers are not necessarily parallel with each other. They're kind of going off at an angle, and it has a metal bracket or strip right in the middle. Not the prettiest amplifier I've ever seen, I have to say. Although the original 48s sounded really good. So I don't know how much these are going to cost, but if Joe's endorsing them, I have a feeling they're going to be pretty expensive. It's probably going to be maybe a limited run. I don't know how practical it is. I don't know how many people would be interested in an amplifier like this. Have you seen it? It's interesting. I haven't actually. I've seen a video of it. I've seen Joe showing the app. He wasn't playing it, so I don't have a. I'm not sure what this one is gonna sound like. Even though I did hear the other ones, I don't think it's gonna be Relict. Pretty sure it's not. Apparently, the original came with Jensen speakers, and I think he mentioned that Celestion recreated like their version of the Celestians for Joe, and it's interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna be curious to see it. I'm gonna be curious to see it. Eddie says, guys, should I oil the neck of my Wolfgang or leave it bare wood? If so, what should I use? So first of all, I don't know if you're actually looking at bare wood, because what might seem like bare wood might not be, because they often use fillers to seal the grain. So unless you're sanding back all of that, you're probably not on bare wood yet. But I would say that it would be worthwhile to at least oil your neck or wax it, just to make sure that it doesn't absorb a lot of moisture, and it stays clean and whatnot. What can you use? There's lots of products out there that you can use. Less is more, by the way. If you want, you can Google Music Man, because the Music Man necks are great. The one that I had a really like satiny finish, and I don't think I could. Let me see here. I used to know what they did, but what they do, I think, is they don't even finish their necks. What they do is they just apply. I believe it's like a true oil, and it's basically wipe on, wipe off type of thing. I know on the internet there is some information on what they do, and it's usually like true oil and wax, and it's like you just basically wipe it on, leave it there for like 2 seconds, wipe it off, and that's it. And the Music Man necks that I had felt really, really great. And I think sometimes that's all you need to do. True oil and gunstock wax will work, and that's what they use normally. What you can do is you can just put a drop or two, 3-in-1 oil in a cotton piece of material, and just buff it up. Just rub it in, buff it up with paper towels, and that's it. That's my advice. Somebody might take it easy, Austin. Nice to see you checking in. Hopefully you'll check in next Sunday as well. Keith says, always loved Redwood Kramer. I just got it's my first ebony. Oh my God, now I love ebony. Feels great. Once you try ebony, it's hard. It's hard sometimes to go back to other stuff. I have a couple of guitars that have ebony fretboards, and I gotta say it's pretty nice. Yeah, true oil. A lot of people are not fanboys of Joe. A lot of people don't like him. Or maybe you're jealous of him. I don't know. Maybe they don't appreciate the fact that he's got a crazy guitar collection. Steve says, ever cleaned a Music Nomad work mat? I have the same issue, Steve. Mine is all grimy. You'll see in my video that I'm going to post when I do the fret level. It's grimy. There's not much you can do. It's cork, right? Is it cork, the one that you have, or is it some kind of plastic or rubber? Yeah, Charles, you're right. Once you rub it in, the true oil will need to set. It'll get hard. There's a lot of people that have tried the True Oil thing. The trick with the True Oil is that you don't want to overdo it, and really it's like a layer by layer. So you rub it in, you wipe it off, let it dry, a little more, a little more. You can build it up, and if you give it enough time to dry between coats, eventually you can really get it to look shiny if you wanted to. But some people just leave it, plain Jane. Lately, I've been going the plain Jane route. Like this doesn't have anything on it right now. I might do exactly what I'm telling you on this with the gunstock oil and stuff. All right, cool guys. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Mark. Thank you for reminding people about the like button. I like that you remind people to like. um, yeah, it says Eddie says my wife could use the True Oil on her guns after I'm done with my guitars. Yeah, they work wonders on gun stocks. That's what it's made for, right? Any of you looking at the reissue overdrives that are apparently popping up? There's a lot of talk about the Marshall Bluesbreaker reissue. Have you guys heard about this? Is it on your radar? Apparently, Marshall, the Marshall Bluesbreaker pedal was iconic. They're very collectible nowadays because they're rare and they're expensive. But it seems like Marshall is re-releasing these pedals now because it seems like there's a few people that have gotten a hold of the reissued version of the pedal, and apparently it's just as good as the original. So I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of the value of the original ones. Like if you had one of the old Marshall Bluesbreaker pedals and now they're re-releasing this one, does that mean that the price is going to dive on the old ones? Because apparently it looks the same. The thing with these pedals is that I'm not a big fan of the shape of the pedal. I know that they made them to look like the original, which are kind of bulky. They're about yay big, and they have an oddball shape to the actual enclosure. I'm really into pedals that are smaller these days to take less space on my board. So whenever I have to put a pedal, one independent pedal like a drive pedal, and it's this big, I think twice about it. But apparently people are liking them, and I think they're going to be popular, except they haven't really released them yet. But they're floating around out there. Apparently the old ones are selling for about, probably over $1,000 now. And the new one's probably going to be about 300 or so. Going back to the comments here. Mark says, damn, I only see 33. Weird. I see 54, which is not bad. Steven says, check out Revenge of the 10-Gallon Hat or Full Martini from Joe's Had to Cry album. Also, he puts on a great show. I'll do that. Thank you. Quicksilver says, all right, when they were announced, I placed my order with Thomann. They appeared on their site. Did they? Okay, I didn't see those. I didn't see that. Interesting. Okay. So Quicksilver says, I placed my order in 2 weeks ago or so. They told me to update my credit card since it had expired since I placed my order. Looks like they are real and ready to ship. Very cool. So that's maybe something that's going to have to be on my radar now. I had ordered the Bluesbreaker and Governor and was €360 for both. Have we mentioned the new Tonex pedal yet? No. I'm not sure what the Tonex pedal is. I can't keep track of everything, but I like the fact that you guys bring things to my attention. So what's the Tonex pedal? Is this one of those pedals that you can program? Okay, it's the Amplitube Tonex pedal. I see what you're... Gotcha. Limited tone for real, they say. AI machine. Here we go with the AI again. I'm telling you, they're going to take over the world, guys. Those bots. We're going to be assimilated. So AI machine model tones live on stage. AI machine pedal brings your Tonex tone models live on stage. Perform with sounds indistinguishable from real gear, no computer required. Play through hundreds of amps, cabs, pedals, and full rigs, including 1,000 downloadable premium tone models. Very cool. You should not have shown me this. So it looks like it's $400. Very cool. Does it tell you what kind of amps and stuff it's got in there, or what it could? So 150 customizable presets. What else do they say in terms of? Do they mention what kind of amps and stuff they have? I'll have to watch the actual video on it. High-end design for pristine tones, it says. Cool. It looks cool. It looks very cool, actually. A complete stage rig in one pedal. Nice. So it says amp rig. Load up to 150 tone model presets to use anytime. 150 presets. Virtual cabinets. So you can use the IK's award-winning multiple impulse response VIR cabinets and mic simulation. Very cool. And effects, it says Tonex pedal includes a noise gate, an EQ, compressor, and 5 stereo reverbs derived from Amplitude's X-Bass pedal. And all these tone shaping options you need in a single pedal, and you can save up to 100. Interesting. Okay, well, it's definitely something I'm going to want to try. Eddie says, Tony, it's God Bonamassa's Dumbles in it. Very cool. Well, look, for $400, it's a lot better than spending $400 than $3,000 on a Fractal. The thing is, I mean, a lot of these small units, they're really sounding great. And it doesn't mean that just because it's less expensive or smaller that it's not as good. The sounds could be awesome in it. It really is it just boils down to what you can do with it. Like the Fractal is crazy, crazy, crazy good when it comes to any kind of routing and all kinds of things that you can do with it. Way, way more than I'm probably even going to have the time to learn. So sometimes going with something simple is better. And, you know, if it's just something that you want to bring with you when you're jamming with your friends for $400, man, you know, you're going to have a bunch of wonderful sounds at your fingertips and all in one little portable device that you can put in your bag, you know, as opposed to lugging around a big, heavy pedal board where you're going to be swapping out pedals and stuff like that, you know. So I definitely will take a closer look at this. Jerry says, don't forget to check out Daytona 500 today. Spring has sprung. Of course. So Quicksilver says, are you in with NUX, Tony? I've seen their new successor to the Cerberus called the Trident. Looks like they kept some stuff from the Cerberus, added more switches, and mashed in features from the AA. So I haven't had the opportunity to look at the Trident yet. The Cerberus was interesting. Not as flexible as I would have liked it to be. Still useful. So maybe they've made positive improvements with the Trident. Again, I'll have to take a look at it. You guys are awesome, man. Awesome. So I'm not the only one giving gas here. You guys are giving me gas too. So I got to be careful. Eddie says, from what I've seen, it sounds really good, but the effing tweaking. That's the thing, Eddie. If you're not into multi-effects units and tweaking, then you're really not gonna enjoy this stuff. Like, I am a tweaker. I like to get close to the sounds. I really am OCD about that kind of stuff. So, you know, if you just want to play, you know, you just want to set it and forget it, maybe pedals and an amp would be the best solution. Keep it simple, keep it analog. You know where everything is, you know how everything is routed. Simple. But for me, I'm on the cusp, right? You know, I embrace analog. I embrace the real live amps with, you know, tubes in them and everything. I enjoy that very much. But at the same time, I enjoy the flexibility
of what's coming out, and just the ability to have so much more flexibility at your fingertips. It's hard to say no to that. Take care, Kushman. Nice to see you this weekend. Hopefully you'll jump in next week. Guys, I've been talking now for about an hour and a half. I think unless there's some other questions that are going to be popping up, I think we're going to call it a day. Usually I go for about 2 hours, and I could go for longer today as well, but I'm thinking maybe, give you guys the opportunity to do something cool this weekend. If you guys are interested and you think I should post the video on the fret leveling right away, maybe I'll do it right after this. Let's take a little poll. And actually, I'm going to give you the poll results before we log out, because we haven't done that yet. But before we actually say goodbye today, let me know if you guys think I should post the fret leveling video today, or should I leave it for tomorrow? Just put in today or tomorrow. We'll take a little quick poll on that and see what you guys are interested in. Let's go to the poll. Let me go check out the poll results. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll pop that up real quick and give you the tally on that. And I don't know if you guys actually had an opportunity to check it out. I didn't mention what the poll question was, so I'm going to talk about that very quickly. The poll question that I posted yesterday was a pretty simple question. It is, how well do you read music? And we got 184 votes on that poll question. And the reason why I asked that poll question is because, I learned initially how to read music. I'm not proficient at it. Like, I can't read it like a newspaper, but I could read music and find my way and understand all of the time signatures on music and all that kind of stuff. I studied that when I actually took lessons when I was younger, but since then I've hardly used it. So the reason I asked that question is, it's still worthwhile to learn how to read music today. It seems like less and less people are actually reading music or need to read music. There's tabs, there's videos that show you step by step how to play. In the old days when I would pick up the guitar magazines, they actually had the tabs with the numbers, and then they had the music underneath, so you can actually do both. I don't even know if they still do that. It's the type of thing that if you don't keep up with it, you kind of forget. So Alan says, I learned to read music for piano, but not very good. Mark says, I used to be able to read, didn't do it for a decade, and now it's like I can't. Yeah, it goes away. Like, that information flies out of your head and then, gets replaced with other useless information. Tomorrow's a holiday in the U.S. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. Well, what do you know? What holiday is it? I'm totally off. So I guess I'll release it today then. All right, so the answers, the result of the polls says that most people, believe it or not, it's almost like a lot of you have learned how to read music along the way. So it's 39% of you says not very well, which means that you can read music, but maybe not 100%. 39% said not very well. 32 said you can't read music. 15% said I'm proficient. So there is a 15% quota there of people that actually can read music proficiently, and 3% say I can sight read anything. And that is something I'd love to do. But again, I don't have the time to learn it again. And 12% say it's all about ear. So that's what I've been doing for the majority of my playing, is really doing it by ear, which I think is also a good skill. If you can, train your ear to recognize patterns and eventually recognize chords and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to say perfect pitch, because not everybody can have perfect pitch, but at least to be able to get in the ballpark, I think that's very, very helpful. In the old days, I used to drop the needle on the records and just play them over and over again. We didn't have video and all that kind of stuff that came later. So it was just a question of listening to the albums and trying to mimic what you were hearing. So that helps develop the ear. President's Day's tomorrow. Okay, I get it. Okay, so you know what? After this video, I'm gonna hit the publish button. You guys will be able to see the next one. All right. Paul says single note trumpet, total muscle memory, multi-note, not so much. Eddie says I can tell time, but I can't build a watch. I'd love to be able to write music. That'd be really, really cool. You can do it. It's just time. That's all it is. Paul says, Tony, the Amplitude Tonex pedal check all the videos just released. I truly think it's a game changer. The key thing is the Tonex capture pedal has YouTubers already offering free downloads for it. Very cool. I'll definitely have to check that out. If it is a game changer, I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to participate. Steve says it's not a real holiday. It's Buy Stuff Day, isn't it? It was Washington's birthday. So you guys, I'm Canadian, so I'm not up to speed with all the American holidays, unfortunately. And I'm jealous because it's not a holiday for me. I'm going to have to go into work tomorrow, which sucks. But it is what it is. Anyways, all right, guys. So that was the results of the polls. Thank you all for participating today. And thank you all for the great questions, the super chats, and, all the great stuff that we've chatted about today was really cool. I'm going to be here again next Sunday. So if you haven't had the opportunity to participate, maybe this was your first one and you like what you're hearing, we'll be here again next Sunday to do it all over again. Hopefully I'll have an update by then on the guitar build, some more pictures and videos of that, as well as some other goodies that I have lined up for you guys. So let's stay tuned, shall we? So that you can keep up with all the great stuff being published and created on Addicted to Gear. No Family Day in Quebec. I don't think there's a Family Day in Quebec. Not today anyways. Not tomorrow. All right, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me this Sunday and making Sunday so much more fun. I'm going to just log off and play some guitar now in the meantime, brush up on a few things, and enjoy the rest of the Sunday with the family and everything. So hope you can do the same. Stay well, my friends, and see you next Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on Addicted to Gear. Take it easy, boys. See you soon.